Hello and welcome to the assessment video guide for element 4 of PGBM86, the Human Resource Reflective Project, which is about ethnographic practices. Okay. Right. As outlined in the workshop on this, the final element of the assessment is based primarily on your researcher's diary, and that's your source material. You should be using this as you completed your management report by using the framework within it, which is based on the CIPD professional map using the behavioural clusters. Now, the purpose of this part of the assessment is for you to reflect upon how you have developed your professional behaviours as you are completing your research. It has two main elements of it. The first element of it is basically about you identifying and evaluating at least 3 of the behaviours from the map, which you demonstrate through the post-completion management report. Now, the 3 behaviours you have decided are up to you. It's not an expectation that you cover all of them. It's an expectation that you look at least 3 of them, that you can demonstrate through evidence, through reflection, through the stages of collecting data and completing your management report. Please refer to the researcher's diary. The structure is there and it's been outlined there. Sorry about that. Right. The second part is to look at 2 behaviours which you develop as a part of your future professional life. Now, these could be a development on the 3 that you've talked about in the first part. They don't have to be different ones. They can be ones that are part of it. The most important bit is to look at this in twofold. It's about you developing as a researcher, but also you developing as a HR professional of the future. That's the purpose of this element of the assessment. Now, you will be assessed on the extent to which you have reflected upon the behavioural development while completing it from the 2 dimensions, which I'll cover later on in the diagram later on. It will also be assessed on the matter of reflexivity and the ability to look beneath the description of the behaviour, where you recognise areas of emotional recall, interaction with others, your own evolving professional identity. You should use tools of reflexivity, which you cover in other modules. For example, you covered this in PGBM87, Leadership and Management Development, where I gave you the Reflexive Provocateur Toolkit. There are other tools that you've used in PGBM68 and also in PGBM74. So there is kit and tools out there for you to use. You will also be assessed on and how much you recognise ethnography as a methodology and use this as a physical underpinning of your reflections. It is more than just telling your story. It's about recognising the methodological philosophy and underpinning of ethnography as a process of research. Okay, just to remind you before I go on to explain a bit more, but these behavioural clusters is what you should be working on. These are outlined in the researcher's diary, and these descriptions are here for you to identify. This is just to reiterate to you that this is the framework that you should be working on. The second cluster and the third cluster. Right, as I said, the diagram. Right, there are 2 dimensions to ethnography for this module. The first one is you as a researcher. Sorry about that, go back. You as a researcher. So what you have done is that you've developed research skills while you complete your management report. So through the 5 stages of this, as identified in the research diary, you should be identifying the behaviours that you have developed. Now choose 3 of them and go into detail about them. Overlapping that is you as a professional. Here you identify your professional identity and voice, i.e. your self-image, for you to chosen behaviours throughout your programme of studies, because at the end this module is the final part of your programme. It's about the evolving part of it. As you can see, the overlap is here between the 2. In that as well is about recognition of the methodological reflections about how to use ethnography as a form of methodology for collecting data for reflection and reflexivity as future professionals and as researchers. Now, there are a series of readings on performance ethnography and visual ethnography and auto ethnography within the researcher's diary. There are further readings as well, which I'll be handing out in the workshop on a chapter from Byron and Bell who've written a whole chapter from a business research perspective. That should help you as well. But you are expected within this element to talk about your methodology about ethnography as well as just describing your behaviours. That's really important. And also you've got to consider the organisational, sorry about this, the organisational ethnography, i.e. the case study research that you completed. Look at the framework about the different types of ethnographers, which I cover in the workshop. Also the visual, whether you use photographic evidence as a way of describing your journeys you go through. And then the auto-ethnographic practices that you use for reflection and reflexivity. Now this is important. So this assessment, this element is based on these two dimensions, the overlap between them, and then how you ensure methodology and the different types of ethnographic practices to complete your research. Now, this is probably a new way of you doing this, but this final element allows you to draw together the whole journey you've been on while completing your master's degree in human resource management. Good luck.